Congratulations on your purchase of the LogoJET UVx40R. This first video in the UVx40R video series will guide you through the unpacking and setup process of the printer all the way to running your first nozzle test, unpacking and physical setup. Step 1 is to uncrate your printer. The UVx40R ships in a wooden crate on rolling casters. Wheel the printer as close as you can to its final destination and place it in a location that will allow you space to remove the upper portion of the crate and move it out of the way. The tools necessary to uncrate your printer are a 6mm hex wrench and a pair of heavy scissors or a safety blade. The printer ships with a 6mm hex wrench secured to the outside of the crate for your convenience. Use the wrench to remove the bolts from the top of the crate. Alternatively, you may use a power drill with a 6mm hex bit. Remove all bolts from the top of the crate and then remove the top panel, placing it out of your way. Remove all foam packaging material from around the printer and remove the briefcase. The briefcase contains various tools and supplies that will be helpful in getting you started with the use and maintenance of your machine. All of the necessary supplies for successful upkeep of your machine are also available for purchase at LogoJET.com. The briefcase includes an Allen wrench set, gloves and safety glasses, syringes, clear sheets for printing, and other supplies we will use in later steps. In a separate box, you will receive additional supplies, including your RIP software and a welcome binder containing key installation, maintenance, and contact information. Next, remove all of the bolts from around the base of the crate. Use the handles to lift the crate gently over the top of the printer and move it out of your way. Use a safety blade or scissors to cut the strapping that is holding the printer in place. Remove the plastic wrap from the printer. Wheel the printer into position to locate it onto the table or workspace. LogoJET recommends a table for the UVx40R that is rated for at least 500 pounds, level and stable to prevent any unnecessary motion when the printer is in operation. Using the handles on the corners of the printer, lift the printer into place on the table. Ensure that the printer sits level on the table by placing a level on the printer bed. The printer should be level both left to right and front to back. Printer introduction, assessment, and initial setup. On the exterior of the printer, you will notice the main control panel on the front right side of the printer. The computer connection is on the lower right side of the printer near the control panel. The main power input is at the right rear of the printer. Open the acrylic cover by lifting gently up and backwards to expose the interior of the printer. Immediately in front of you, you will see the printer bed with included vacuum functionality. The tiny holes in the bed are used to pull suction on the print media to secure it in place during printing. The holes also indicate the printable area of the bed. You will notice a 4-inch area in front and back of the printable area that has no holes. This is not printable area, as you will see when we perform the nozzle check in a few minutes. This area is simply used to facilitate loading and unloading the bed and to stabilize the optional rotary attachment. On each side of the printer, you will notice access panels secured by 4 screws. The panels may be removed to enhance visibility inside of the printer or facilitate access to key components. You should not have to remove these panels to conduct typical setup procedures, but they are easily removed and replaced if you care to use them for access and inspection. Inside the printer to the right, you will see the carriage, which contains the print heads and dampers behind the LogoJET cover piece. At the bottom of the carriage, 2 metal pieces are used to secure the carriage in place for transit. Use a 2.5mm Allen wrench to loosen the screws that secure the brackets in place. Move the brackets so that they are horizontal to the base of the printer and secure the screws to store these brackets. These brackets must remain horizontal so they do not interfere with the capping station movement or the carriage. Above the carriage is the ink basket, and you will see the ink bag needles and ink lines. Inspect the needles and ink lines to ensure that they are intact and undamaged by shipping. On the left side of the carriage, you will find a bracket securing the carriage to the rail. Use a 5mm Allen wrench to loosen the bolt and remove this bracket. Place the bracket in the briefcase for safekeeping. Remove the instructional stickers from the carriage rail. This is an important step to inspect 3 locations or you can cause damage. Behind the carriage rail, you will see the encoder strip. The encoder strip is used to position the carriage correctly during print operation. There are 2 clips, one on each end of the rail that the encoder strip sets in. There is a sensor on the back of the carriage. The strip should be inside of the sensor. If the encoder strip has come out of these clips or out from the sensor in shipping, gently place it back into place. Insert the power cord into the printer and plug in the printer. LogoJET recommends at a minimum that an industrial grade surge protector be used to protect the electronics from damage in the event of a power surge. Power on the printer by rotating the red power button clockwise and ensure the control panel shows LogoJET. The printer is now ready to initialize with software. Control software installation. We are now ready to install the command control software on your computer. Remove the USB key or card from the briefcase. Insert the USB into your computer and browse to the drive. At this point, we will install the command control software. The full software installation steps are available in the LogoJET Rico Command Control Install Guide provided with your welcome packet materials. Please pause the video, follow the steps in the instruction manual, and then resume the video. Inking and completing printer setup. Steps to perform with the power off. Your ink will arrive with your supplies kit and is packaged in individual bags. The carriage of your UVx40R is labeled in the proper ink order. The UVx40R ink order is cyan, magenta, yellow, black, white, and one configurable channel. Some options for this channel include using a primer to pre-treat surfaces, a clear gloss to enhance gloss effect, or a second white channel. Start with the first ink bag and agitate the ink bag for 30 to 60 seconds. Place the ink bag in the carriage above the corresponding ink location. Take the needle and insert it firmly into the port on the ink bag. Place the connector inside the lip of the ink carriage. Move to the next bag and repeat this process until all ink bags are in place. Check the system periodically to ensure that there are no leaks present and that needles remain firmly in the bags. Power on the printer by rotating the red power button clockwise. Power on the software by launching the command center from your desktop. The printer will now initialize. With all bags in place, press the Head Clean button on the front of the control panel. You will hear the system pull ink through the lines and into the waste bin. After the cleaning, you will see the carriage move to the left and flash over the waste bin on the left side of the printer. The carriage will then return to its home position. Both the Command Center program and the console of the printer will indicate that a head cleaning is in progress. Repeat this process 2 more times to pull ink through the system and fill the dampers and print heads. With 3 head cleanings complete, we will prepare to run the first nozzle check. Locate a clear sheet in the briefcase. Flip the green switch on the front of the printer to the on position to activate the vacuum bed. You will recall that there is a 4-inch area on the front and back of the bed that is not printable area. Place the clear sheet horizontally over the front row of holes on the vacuum bed. We will now use the auto height feature to set the height of the bed for printing the nozzle check. The auto height sensor sits just in front of the position of the carriage. Use the forward button on the control panel to move the bed toward the front. Hold this button until the holes on the vacuum bed are in front of the auto height sensor. Now the auto height feature will be enabled. Press the auto height button on the front of the control panel. The bed will move up into the proper position for printing. You will notice that the red light above the auto height button is on. This means that the auto height feature is still active, so inserting items into the print area will re-height the bed. Press the auto height button again to disable this feature, and the bed will remain at the proper height. Press the nozzle check button on the front control panel to run a nozzle check. The carriage will move to the left and flash before printing a nozzle test pattern on the clear sheet. A good nozzle check will show clean lines with no gaps. A bad nozzle check will show breaks in between the lines, indicating that the ink is not coming out of all of the nozzles. Each thin line represents one of the 150 nozzles per channel of the printhead. If there is a missing line, that nozzle did not fire ink. Most likely at this point, there is no ink at the printhead to fire. We need to do another head cleaning to pull ink to the printhead and nozzles. If you obtain a good nozzle check, you may stop here and the system is ready to print. If your nozzle check is not good, continue to alternate head cleanings and nozzle checks until the nozzle test pattern is clean. If you run 3 additional head cleanings and are still not able to get a good test pattern, please contact LogoJET support.